Okay, hi everyone. My name is Kaya. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm a yoga instructor with Ohio University Ping Recreation Center, and we're going to be doing 30 minutes of Yin Yoga today. Thank you guys so much for coming, streaming with me. And if you're participating in the Nurse and Movement Challenge, that's really exciting. Thank you for doing that. Make sure that after the class you go into the portal and log your hours if you're doing that. Great. So just a couple things about today's class. I'm not going to be playing any music just due to some copyright reasons, but it actually works out really well for this class format. I really like to do yin in silence. So if that sounds okay and comfortable to you, you can try it with me. Otherwise, you can pick any kind of ambient music or like nature sounds on Spotify. I really like the playlist called Yoga and Meditation. There's lots of great yoga playlists that you can try on Spotify. So you can just hook that up now. And we're going to be using a couple of different props today, but you can use whatever you have around the house. So I have a blanket, a bolster, and a block. We're not going to be using all of them. We'll just be for whatever you need in your postures. The biggest one is a blanket. Just make sure you have a blanket nearby. And I know that most of you probably don't have a bolster in your house, but if you don't, you can just grab one or two pillows. Those work just great. They're just going to be going under our back for some cushion. Great, so we'll go ahead and get started. The deal with yin is that we're going to be doing a nice, cool, passive practice. We're going to be on the ground. We're going to be holding some restorative postures for anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes. And actually, during today's class, we're going to be staying on our back, so making sure you have all of your props nearby and trying not to strain your neck up to see me. You can just listen for my cues, and hopefully that will be enough. Great, so we'll go ahead and get started on our backs. What we'll do with our blanket, if you have one ready, is I like to roll it up in a long roll like this. And what we'll do is we'll come to our backs, bring the soles of our feet together, let the knees fall wide into Supta Baddha Konasana. And I like to wrap the blanket over my ankles and under my heels for a little bit of support here. And once you've got all set up, you can lay back. And then you can adjust how far your heels are from your sits bones. Hands can rest anywhere from your belly. Maybe one hand comes to your heart. Hands can go by the sides, whatever feels good here. And we'll just start to connect to the breath here. Just start to settle onto your mat. Just release any tension that you've accumulated throughout the day. Just really start to surrender into your mat here. Use your exhales to let go of any thoughts that might be circulating in your mind. Noticing the sensations in your body at first, just taking inventory without feeling the need to change anything. Notice where you're feeling relaxed, where you can really melt down into the mat, and where you're holding tension, maybe in your hips, your jaw, your forehead. Just try to release that tension on an exhale. And our first principle that we're going to be playing with in our yin practice today is finding our edge. This is really important. So we're using the props and being really kind to ourselves to find position in each posture that's not quite completely comfortable, but also something that's sustainable, that's not so uncomfortable that you're feeling the need to shift or move out of it constantly. It's just finding that sweet spot in between comfort and discomfort. Just allowing yourself to rest there. Returning to your deep belly breaths, really let that inhale drive all the way down into your belly. You can let your belly rise with the shape of your breath. You can open your mouth nice and loud, sigh it out. Throughout this practice, we use our breath as our focal point. Whenever your mind wanders, don't place any judgment. Just let that thought float away like a cloud in the sky and come back to your breath. Take 2 more big belly breaths here. And bring your hands to the outsides of your thighs. Use the strength of your hands to gently guide your knees back together. And you can hug your knees up in towards your chest. You just take a little rock side to side here, pulling the knees in closer towards you and then releasing them away. Just a couple gentle spine warm-ups here. And then we'll move into a supine twist. So we'll bring our arms out to our sides at a T. And gently drop both knees over to the right, stacking the knees. And a great option here, if you find that your knees aren't quite reaching the ground comfortably, you can place your pillow or your bolster or even your blanket rolled up either underneath both knees or in between your knees to give you a little bit of space here. And then if it feels okay, you can turn your gaze over your left fingers for an extra twist in cervical spine. Returning to your belly breath if you've forgotten it. And the second principle of Yin Yoga, after we found our edge, that spot in between comfort and discomfort, then we try to find stillness. So in postures like this, it may be relatively easy, or maybe this posture is really challenging for you. But notice where your impulses to move come from. If you're constantly fidgeting your fingers or feeling an itch, notice if those impulses are coming from your edge. If you're uncomfortable in the posture and you need to move out, you can feel free to do that. But if it's just because you haven't moved in a while and you're a little antsy, see if you can come back to those belly breaths, really settle into your twist here. Inhale to gently lift the left leg back to center, followed by the right. Keeping the arms out at a T, we'll just drop the knees over to the other side. Again, bringing the prop with you, either placing a block in between your knees or underneath, if that feels appropriate. And the right shoulder stays rooted in the mat. Maybe you send the gaze over the right fingers, totally optional. Release the tension in your face, in your shoulders, in your fingers. Anywhere where you're holding tension, it's unnecessary right now. If you find that your mind wanders often and you'd like something to anchor you to your breath, maybe you count the inhales, try to make them equal in length to the exhales. And gently return your head back to center. Inhale to lift the right knee and then the left knee back towards center. And kind of reposition your hips here. And then drop both feet to the mat. If your blanket is still down at the bottom of your mat, you can kind of just kick it out of the way. We'll keep our right sole of our foot on the mat, knee pointed up towards the ceiling. And we'll bring our left knee in towards our chest, give it a little squeeze. And then we'll bring our left ankle to the right knee for a figure 4 stretch. So we're opening that left knee out to open the hip. And this may already be plenty of a stretch for you. So remember, we're playing our edge here. If this is your edge, or even if this is past your edge, you can always bring your knee in. Be really gentle to yourself today. If this does feel okay and you want to move a little farther into the posture, you can clasp your hands behind your right thigh. Slowly start to pull the whole unit in towards your chest. Again, going really slow, just stopping wherever the hips ask you to stop this afternoon. And keep the left toes just a little bit engaged so we can protect our left knee. And then sink back down into the mat. Return to your breath. Release through the thigh muscles, through the shoulders, through the neck. And again, we're working towards finding stillness. If it's very hard for you to find a moment of stillness in this posture, maybe you ease out of it, release your leg a little bit away from you, maybe drop the foot down to the mat. You have permission to move out of the posture if that's what feels right for you. Send your breath into all of the extremities, the tips of the toes, fingertips, the nose. Release the jaw. And if you're holding on to your right thigh, go ahead and slowly release it so the foot drops to the mat. And release the left ankle from the right knee. Just take a gentle windshield wiper to release the low back. Just drop the knees from side to side a few times. And we'll come back to center. Left sole of the foot stays on the mat as we hug our right knee in towards our chest. Right foot comes to the left knee for figure four. And notice here how this side already might feel different from the last side. I know for me, my hips are very uneven. It's very common. Just be compassionate, be patient with your body. Notice these changes. And then find your edge on this side. So maybe on this side, you keep the foot down. Maybe you interlace the hand behind the thigh. Engage the right toes and slowly start to pull the hip open. And the final third principle of Yin that we adhere to is just staying for time. So after we've found our body's edge, our mind's edge, and we find stillness, then we sink in, we wait for several minutes. And the point of this is to really access those deep connective tissues, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia, all the stuff that lies underneath the muscle that's hard to access with dynamic movement. So we try to release the muscles and relax for a long period of time. See if we can undo some of that habitual movement that stays tied up in our connective tissues. If you've been counting the breaths and equaling the inhale to the exhale, maybe you begin to work into those pauses between the inhale and exhale, and coming to a square breath, making each section of the breath, the inhale, pause, exhale, pause, each of them equal in length. Gently release the left foot down to the mat if it's not already there. Lift the right foot off the left knee. Bring both feet to the mat. Windshield wiper. Release the hips, the low back. And then I'll offer two options for our final pose before Shavasana. We're going to take a back bend. So if you'd like to stay here on your back without getting up, nice and restorative, you can take either your block or your pillow, whatever is nearby. Just press down into your feet, lift up through the hips, and slide that pillow or that folded blanket underneath your hips. You don't need to come very high. And then just rest the hips back down on it. If you'd like to take a supported fish, you can roll onto your side, come up quickly, and then you can take your pillow or your bolster, whatever you have nearby. We'll bring our hips just about to the end of our pillow and lay our spine onto that elevated surface. Maybe the arms come out by the sides or out at a T for some heart opening. And again, really surrender down into the earth. Feel the ground rising up to support you. Inhale into the front of your body. Notice these sensations as the front side of your body opens up towards the sky. Taking this opportunity in the last posture to really come back to the breath. Let that be the main focal point. Again, if your mind wanders, try not to get frustrated or angry. Just notice that thought. Watch it float by. And come back to your breath. Really pay attention to the bodily sensations. The inhale travels all the way down your throat, into your chest, filling up your belly. And then as you release, if you're comfortable here in your back bend, you're welcome to stay for the rest of class. If you'd like to take a more traditional Shavasana on your back, if you're in supported fish, you can gently press up using your forearms and your hands. If you're in bridge, just lift the hips off your prop, remove your prop from underneath you. Just move the props off to the side. We're done with them for today. Then we'll go ahead and drop back down to our backs, nice and slow. Great option here, if your low back is uncomfortable here, is to place your pillow or a rolled up blanket under your knees. I also like to kind of shimmy my shoulder blades underneath me to get a little gentle heart opening here. And then we'll release everything, any remaining bits of tension. The last hold on our breath, just let that go. Come back to your natural flow of breath. And just rest for the last few moments of class. And trust that I will tell you when it's time to come out. Start to bring some awareness back into the breath. And bring deeper and deeper inhales into the belly. And as the prana, the life force, begins to seep back in, you can start to bring some movement into your fingers and your toes. Nice and slow, beginning to wake back up your ankles and your wrists. You rock your head from side to side, bend into your elbows and your knees. Slowly coming back into the world, we'll inhale to reach our arms up and overhead for a good morning stretch. You can flex your toes up towards your face. Point them away from you. And whenever you're ready, on your exhale, you can gently roll to your right side, using your arm as a pillow. And just rest in supported fetal position. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to your mat today. Amid all this craziness, this is absolutely what we need the most. Just making time for ourselves, for some quiet, for some stillness, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. And thank your body for all it does for you. And just notice the sensations in your body as we close practice today. And you can gently press up to a tall, cross-legged seat. Whenever you're ready, you can keep your gaze closed. We'll bring our hands in front of heart center and close our practice today with one chant of Om. You can sing with me from wherever you are or just listen. And first we'll take one cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And we inhale for the Om. Bring your thumbs to your third eye center to remind yourself to have peace in your thoughts. Your thumbs to your mouth. May you have peace in your words. And thumbs to your heart center. May you have peace in your heart. Together we bow and say, Namaste. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me virtually. I hope that it was helpful and beneficial for you guys, and it was great for me as well. I will be teaching for at least the next month at this time, so 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays, as well as 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays at the same link. And also we have a great schedule full of lots of different yoga offerings and lots of different group fitness. So check it out. Make sure you get signed up for that Nurse and Movement Challenge if you're not already. And thank you guys. Have a wonderful day, yogis.